Hello, my name is Nate Carden, Managing Director of Bunker Labs Nashville.
And we are at Nashville's first Bunker Muster, and this has been awesome. It's been a great
Big
time.
event. Sure.
I would love to talk with you about your role with Bunker because you're on the leadership team with Blake, and you're not going anywhere. You love it.
I love it. I'm going to plant roots in Nashville.
You've been here for 1 year.
1 year. Just moved up in July, really just because I had some friends that were already living up here and had come to visit them, and it was just an incredible community that they had developed. And I mean, it's pretty close to home for me. I'm from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and I'd been down there teaching at my old high school for the last 3 years.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I got out of the Air Force in 2011, tried to start a company, moved back to Europe. And
Back to Europe? You were stationed there?
well, so the Air Force was really good to me. So I went to the Air Force Academy directly out of high school. Didn't really apply to any other schools, but the Air Force Academy offered me a football scholarship, and I couldn't pass up a free education, a good free education. And so I went out there. I majored in business and minored in French, and got really involved with the foreign language department. So I did a semester with the French Air Force Academy my senior year, and then got a scholarship to study in Paris, France for 2 years right out of the academy.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
And when you got out of, so take me from that point. So you're studying abroad. I would love to just talk for a minute about you
Yeah.
because we haven't actually not had the chance to talk like this. So
Yeah.
tell me. So what happened after that?
So, I mean, that first of all was just an incredible experience. One, there's no military bases in France, and so I was in Paris from 22 to 24 years old as a second lieutenant. So I was getting paid a salary while I was there, and they increased the salary because of the cost of living in Paris at the time. And so they had paid for my apartment downtown Paris. They paid for school, and they gave me a salary on top of it. And I really had no oversight. The attaché, the Air Force attaché at the embassy, was also an academy graduate, F-16 pilot, really laid back, and he's just like he treated me as an adult, which I wasn't used to coming out of the academy, to where I had to almost ask permission to spend the night out at a friend's house.
Right.
Yeah.
So at that point, so then you're in the Air Force. Is that how
Right,
that
so-
works?
So when you finish the academy, you owe a minimum of 5 years if you're not a pilot. If you're a pilot, you owe 10 years after pilot training. And there was, because my grad school was paid for by the Alumni Association of the Academy, my commitment for grad school served concurrently with my academy commitment. And so they finished up about the same time. So I did, immediately after Paris, I went into hospital administration for the Air Force, and I was based at Langley Air Force Base in Hampton, Virginia. And again, it was just an incredible opportunity. I was ready by the time I finished grad school to get my hands dirty. I felt like I'd been doing marketing cases my whole life, and I had an itch, and we had briefly touched on it a minute ago about where I got this entrepreneurial bug. And it came from my advisor at the Air Force Academy. Somehow I landed, I think, one of the best professors I've ever encountered anywhere. And
What was the professor's name?
Major Duncan Stewart. He's now out of the Air Force and involved in 100 different businesses. And that was the thing, is that his excitement was contagious. And I think that for me is what has is the embodiment of a good professor, is somebody that's curious and excited about life. And that's what I tried to emulate when I was teaching in high school the past 3 years.
Wow. And then you moved to Nashville. Been here for about a year, and you were around the Bunker teams. You were at the EC. You were kind of living and breathing this. So you joined with Blake,
Yeah.
managing director. So what are some of the plans for Bunker in Nashville? What do you guys have I know a lot of it has been planning for this, but now after this, what's coming up?
Yeah, the exciting part now is that there's 12 different cities already, and each city is a little bit unique. And so that's kind of the plan right now, is to go visit some of the other cities and see what they're up to, and really get to build what Nashville is going to look like in the future. And we're excited to start that process, because really, even though we're a nonprofit here, it's really an entrepreneurship endeavor, and we have big plans to see. We want to incorporate, because this isn't just a veteran company. It's also about incorporating veterans into the community. And so we want to bring in civilian engagement with Bunker Labs. So whether that's inviting some civilians into the cohort, our 14-week curriculum, whether that's just having them come to the weekly events that we put on, or the Bunker Brews, or whatever else we might do. But I think what the Raleigh-Durham Bunker is doing is really exciting, and they're partnering with local universities. Their eventual goal is to have almost a 3-phase approach to launching companies. Really, you can imagine it even on a 3-floor level of a building, to where the bottom floor is like, this is the idea phase, and we're figuring out, what a customer engagement might be, whether this is a viable option at all. The second stage might be to where they're getting some movement with it, but like, how do we expand into other markets? And the third is, okay, we really need to scale. How do we find capital, et cetera?
Kind of like the Create, Launch, Grow at the
Exactly.
EC. If the EC was triple decker, it would
Right.
be physically spaced like that.
Right, and I think that's
Do
why
they have 3 spaces, 3 levels?
at Raleigh-Durham.
You talking about, is it American Underground, or is this somewhere else?
That I think that's just their future as well. They're envisioning having that in the future, because they too, like us, are in the nascent stage.
Right. Well, I know you're kind of just sharing a lot of ideas, and if we talk again in a month or two, some of them might have just stayed in the idea stage, some of them have gone to the launch, grow. So yeah, I'm excited. So what's next for you all? Visiting the other cities. It's about the community. Todd and Blake, they talked a little about the unfair advantage that they're really working to create for the network. So yeah, how can someone connect directly with you and the team here?
Yeah, so my email is really simple. It's just nate.carden@bunkerlabs.org. And for Blake, it's blake.hogan@bunkerlabs.org. They can check out the website, bunkerlabs.org, or just come by the Entrepreneur Center. I mean, that's the best way. We love meeting new people. We love hearing new ideas, really. I mean, that's why Blake and I are part of Bunker Labs, is we're entrepreneurially minded. Right. So just like, we get excited about people with new ideas. And that's the cool thing about the EC, and why, frankly, we see a long partnership with the EC, is because that's already happening there.
That's exciting. Well, I'm really glad that you not only did you get involved, but you're like, all right, I'm going to stay involved with
Let's
this.
go.
So it's going to be a fun next couple of years.
For sure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for it.